Hello guys. So in this video, we are going to talk about the opportunities that lies before you here on the motherland in Ghana, specifically where I live. We're going to dive into some stories that I've personally heard from, I would say, my mentors, right? People who've been in the game since the 80s, since the 90s. The opportunities that they saw, what made them move. These people were just like you. They were living in the West and they came down here, they saw an opportunity, they grabbed onto it. They are massively wealthy right now, got a lot of cash, living a very comfortable life. So we are going to dive into that. I'm also going to dive into some of the business opportunities that lies before you here on the motherland and where the world is going right now with AI and everything else, and the move that you have to make to secure your future for your family. So let's dive into it. So I moved down here to Ghana in 2021, purposefully to come and operate a business. I wasn't thinking about AI and all this stuff that came after the fact. Now the world is so unpredictable. I feel bad, particularly for people like accountants and stuff like that. All these jobs is becoming unpredictable, whether your job is going to last or what's going to happen to you if you are in the West, right? On this part of the world, Africa, right now, yes, we are going to be using AI and stuff like that, but we have not fulfilled our basic needs, stuff that we need, right? Like, diving more into agriculture, getting basic things like having car wash infrastructure set up, right? Building more houses, right? Just the basic stuff that we need for the economy to function like it has been done in the developed worlds. We are not there yet, but we are working towards it. And what does that present for you, my friend? That presents a lot of opportunities because there's a lot to do to get us to where the world is right now. And you do not have to be a genius. You do not have to be an Einstein, especially if you've lived in the West before. You just have to, implement something that you've seen over there that's working, right? You came down here and it's not really working, and you can what? Benefit massively. So we're going to look at some of them, and I'm going to dive into my own personal businesses that I'm doing right now, the opportunity that I spotted, and the problem that I'm solving. I'm going to start off with my mentor story. Well, one of my mentors, right, who likes to be anonymous, doesn't want to be known at all. So we're going to keep that name out, but the story is quite remarkable. This guy was a taxi driver. When he came down here to Ghana, he spotted an opportunity. And what was that opportunity? Well, in the early 90s, he realized that people are buying cars and the parts, right? To this day, certain parts like GMC, these American cars, certain parts you cannot get it. Toyota is widely used in Ghana. Any Toyota part that you want, you can find it, but some cars you cannot find a part. So he came down here. He had a friend who was doing this thing on a very small scale, and him being a taxi driver, knowing a little bit about cars in the UK, he said, "Wow, let me see what I can do." So he shipped the first container. He said, "Rush." That container opened up, and within a couple of hours, everything in that container was gone, right? And he packed his bags. As a matter of fact, he left his wife and kids in the UK. He came down here to Ghana by himself in the early 90s. And he goes back to the UK 2, 3 times a year. He's been doing that for all this while. It works for them. But the guy found himself in Abu Sulkai, and he has been selling a lot of car parts since the early 90s. He has a lot of shops, and he dived into real estate early. He was on Transaco land before Transaco was Transaco, and he thought it was a bush. He didn't want it. However, he ended up buying a lot of land in Ajigano, and this guy is massively wealthy right now. He got lands in the prime locations of Ghana. Now, this guy was a taxi driver. He spotted an opportunity. There was a need for something, and he felt like he can do it. The guy didn't go to the university. It's a simple guy, right? Simple, very simple guy. But he spotted a simple opportunity, bringing car parts that's needed in a country. And he went all in on that. And he then diversified that into buying land in forest, right? At Jingano, a lot of these places he was buying was a forest villages. He was buying in the early 90s. And now a plot of land in these areas is worth $100,000, $200,000. It's because this guy was in the game early and he spotted an opportunity and he came down here and he did what? And he dived into it. Now, not all of us have to move our entire family. Not all of us have to move down here. But you need to look into the country because, look, the West is not how it used to be anymore. Life is becoming difficult. A lot of people are struggling in the West, both UK and the US. People are really going through it. Life is becoming difficult. And on this side, right, if you tell that, the game on this side. People are now actually thriving here on the motherland. People are making money. So we are growing. This is the time for you, right? Back in the days, if you were in the West, you were the bugger, it came with a lot of props. But this is the time where you look back home and you implement something that you've seen. It doesn't necessarily mean that you have to move in order for you to do what? Come here and do something. But there are some businesses that you can dive into without you being here, but you got to be careful. Certain businesses that requires a lot of turnaround and stuff like that. If you're not here, it's almost impossible that it's going to work, right? So this guy came in here, he saw this opportunity in the car parts and he became massively wealthy on the real estate side. Now, real estate side in Ghana, you cannot ignore. You cannot regret the real estate side in Ghana, which is why I have chosen to be in the real estate sector in Ghana, because that is the closest thing that you can get to winning the lottery here in Ghana. Now, let me break down to you. If the real estate market in Ghana was clear cut and it wasn't a lot of issues, trust me, the foreigners would have bought up all the land. But there's a lot of issues. You have to be careful and all that. That presents an opportunity for people like me who have been able to figure out how to go about the system and sell people genuine properties. As you guys can see, I have properties in Afenya and Pram Pram. Check it out. Welcome to Afenya. A plot of land in Afenya is 85,000 Ghana cedis. I've been selling land to a lot of people. Most of the houses in the walls that you see on this video are the people that bought land from me. We still have plenty of land available for you. And if you're interested, our link is in this very video and in the description below. Reach out to us so we can talk. Afenya is less than an hour away from Accra, and they are doubling the road, so the distance will be even shorter when it's done. Pram Pram. Now, Pram Pram is well sought after due to its proximity to the beach. People love the beach fronts and the beach vibe in Pram Pram. Now, Pram Pram is not too far away from the main city, which is Accra. Less than an hour drive, you are in Accra, and they are doubling the main Tema Adan Road. When that's done, the distance will be even shorter. We also have land here going for 85,000 Ghana cedis per plot. Now, if you buy properties, right, I will start with my personal house. When I bought my land where my house is sitting on in 2016, it was a forest. There was absolutely nothing here. It's been 9 years, right? It took me about 3.5 years, 2019, November. I, break the ground. I started building thereafter, which was roughly about, 3 years from the date of purchase. Fast forward, now this place is widely developed, and to get a plot of land, you're not even going to get it. And if you get it, it's quite expensive. The land hasn't finished realizing its value yet. Why? Because there's still some infrastructures that have to come in place, like the Temakosombo Road. Why am I saying the Temakosombo Road? And why am I saying the, Tema Adan Road, which is also being doubled? So that's why I have strategically tapped into Pram Pram and Afenya. Both of these areas, when they double the road, the drive to the airport becomes shorter. The drive to all the prime locations of Ghana becomes shorter. The drive to the airport becomes your 30 minutes, your 25 minutes, no matter what time it is, right? Because right now, that is how long it's going to take you to get to the airport if you are to drive there at 12 a.m. because there's no traffic on the road. When there's no traffic, that's the time, and the road is not the best. So imagine when they have done it beautiful and new, right? That's what's going to happen, and that's exactly what happened to Ebri. The people that were buying in Ebri, Peduase, don't even mention Peduase. Peduase is super expensive now. Now, what happened with Ebri is the road leading to Ebri and Peduase was very deadly. I remember around the early 2000s, President Kufuor times, they did that road and it started to gain traction because now driving to Accra from Ebri became something that wasn't scary anymore because it was really scary. That curve on the mountain was extremely scary and people used to die there all the time in car accidents. And the drive was quite long because you have to take your time or you are going to kill yourself. Ebri became massively, attractive. Ebri became extremely attractive, and Ebri now, a plot of land, some people are selling for $40,000, $50,000. I actually have a client that bought a plot of land for less than $2,000 in Ebri just about 10 years ago. You don't have to move here as I'm preaching to you, but you must tap into the opportunity, especially looking at this AI stuff, as I mentioned earlier. Why don't you buy 2, 3, 4 plots of land, build a small house on it, right? For the future, you can plant your own food because that's where the world is going right now. Things are getting pretty difficult for a lot of people. So you need space to be able to plant your own food. You need a place where you can lay your head when things get tough, right? And you need to look into businesses that AI is not going to take away. And some of that business is like a car wash, right? The AI can come and wash on your car wash for you if they create a robots, but they cannot create more land. Real estate is key. All right. That's why I find myself in this space. And when I say I find myself in this space, I mean, I'm selling land, I'm designing, I'm building for people right here in Ghana. Because it is the key to creating wealth. It is something that AI is not going to take away. We are not going to sleep on top of the robot. They're not going to create more houses in the air for us to sleep in. That's not saying on anything. It's not going to happen, right? No matter how advanced we get, the houses are not going to be floating. It's not going to work. Even if they can figure it out, I mean, flying is dangerous. It's not going to work. So land is invaluable. That's one thing that you can guarantee and bank on it. The world population is growing, especially here in Africa. Other parts of the world has slowed down, but here in Africa, we are the fastest growing continent. I feel like I came late because I was watching a lot of YouTubers. Some came in, some left because they didn't figure out the system, right? The system is to own the land, build a simple house if you don't have the money, move in and start building from there. Because what happens here in Ghana, if you do this, right? Like I live in quite a big house. You don't have to do this. You don't have to live in a big house, right? I was over ambitious and everything went well for me. I made a video specifically talking about I didn't have to build this big house as my first house because I could have used some of the money for a business. Luckily, I had the money to do it in the middle of it, right? By being a stock trader. But most of us don't need that $300,000 house, $400,000, $500,000. We don't need it. We need $80,000 house, $75,000, $100,000 house. That's attainable, right? If you are married or something like that, you can do this in 2 years, 2.5 years. You can build something for yourself. And once you've built out for yourself and you have the little nest egg and you come here and set up your business, whether that's a block factory, which is something I'm working on now, it's quite profitable. That's something that AI is not going to take away. It's going to bring you money. I personally know a client who was going to use me to build a house, and later on he changed his mind that instead of building a house, they are not ready to move to Ghana quite yet, but they want to move in the next 5 years. Why don't they use the money to set up a block factory? And these people went hard. They invested a lot of money. They got this beautiful big block factory, and I buy from them. And I know how much money I'm sending to these people. So block factory is a lucrative business, something that I'm looking into doing it myself to get that vertical integration because I'm going to buy it for myself. I make money from the blocks, cut down costs here. It's quite amazing. And AI is not taking that away from you. Now, agriculture is something that AI is not taking away from you. AI is going to help you figure out things like what kind of chemicals to apply here. AI is going to help you be more efficient, but AI is not going to invent more land for you to cultivate. So again, we come back down to the real estate. Now, real estate in Ghana is something that you absolutely need to look into. I say that to my fellow brothers and sisters, especially you Ghanaians, right? You guys have no idea what's happening on the ground. When I go to town, sometimes I forget that I'm in Ghana. There are a lot of foreigners in this country doing businesses. The real estate market in Ghana, people will say that it's overpriced, it's this, it's that. Cut through the noise. Find the good deals. Okay, there are good deals out there. As I'm talking to you right now, right? I'm in the process of purchasing something for an office building, and I got quite a great deal, right? So there are great deals, right? Just keep looking. And the real estate market still has sectors that's untapped, right? Like if you go to America, they have the real estate sector where people just buy, defunct buildings that are just, nasty, gut it down, put it together and resell it, right? There is a huge business in that arena. Now, Ghana, this is happening in the Osu, the East Lagons, where people have built and their land is so valuable and they come and, gut it down and they put on a high rise. They don't go and renovate their house itself and resell it for a high price. That's something that is not that common in Ghana, but I think it will become that common in the near future. Right? We also have the business where somebody go and, all they do is find good deals and they kind of like use a contract to buy it. This is, widely known in America. You use a contract to buy and you go and find a buyer for a higher price and you pay nothing, you realize the gain on it. It's not quite normal here in Ghana, right? I think the closest thing to that would be something like what I do as a, selling land, taking it from the chiefs and paying the money and doing this and that. But it's a bit different. So the real estate market is still at its infancy, right? We are just getting there, right? We are just getting there. And whenever there is change, right? Whenever there is change, like massive growth, people will always have negative things to say. People will absolutely always have negative things to say. I mean, when somebody is trying to sell something in a place like Ajingano or your East Legon, that's prime locations, right? Like prime locations, if you go to New York and you find out how much a building costs or even an apartment costs, you'll be mad. But it's a prime location. The same country, you go to Texas, you can find something cheaper. Ghana is no different. Believe it or not, people are visiting Ghana. People love Ghana. The country is growing. So anywhere 10 minutes to the airport, best believe it's going to be expensive. Now, if you don't want to pay that, you don't have to. You can go out and buy something modest. 30 minutes drive, 35 minutes drive, 40 minutes drive, the price drops significantly if you are diligent and you know how to look. What I humbly submit to you guys is to invest in the motherland because there are foreigners here doing just that. And trust me, there are people out there that's doing genuine business. People like myself who are selling land and building for people. You know, there are people out there that are doing things the right way. There are people here. I mean, I've been operating here for quite a bit. I work with people. I work with plumbers. I work with electricians. I work with ceiling guys. I work with painters. There are good people on the ground that you work with. Now, it's not easy to find, but if you're in a system, you can figure it out. Now, you're not going to figure it out by mentally engineering your way to Ghana. You are only going to figure it out by being on the ground. So my advice to you again is to take it easy while you're on the ground. Ease your way in. That's a mistake I made personally. When I came to Ghana, my first mistake, though I won the case and I got my land back, so I really didn't lose anything. Plus, I got my PhD in land, and I end up, operating a real estate business that I use that knowledge to help a lot of people acquire land and also subsequently diving into the building game, right? Building for people, taking over people who've been building for the past 15 years, but they just cannot find a good person to do it. I'm making it possible for somebody in the UK to find someone that they can talk to that will handle everything for them. Before, they had to come down here, try to find somebody, 5 people, and it was so stressful. I'm alleviating all the stress from people. That's the problem I've chose to solve. Now, you have a problem that you can solve, right? There are certain businesses that you are used to in the West that might not work in Ghana. One of those is like a storage space, right? The storage space business in America, I don't know about the UK, so I'm going to talk from the perspective of America. The storage space business in America is quite huge. Why is that? Because America is so expensive. Most people have, 1 bedroom, tiny spaces, but they have a lot of things and they got to put it somewhere. They got to store it and they're paying for it, right? Or people are nomads, they're traveling around and they got a storage and they pay for it. The storage space business is quite huge in America. That's not going to work in Ghana, at least now. Right? Why? I can get a plot of land for $5,000, $3,000, $2,000 somewhere. Put up some structure and put metals around it and go and store my stuff there for cheap. We are also family oriented. Us Ghanaians, I'm not going to say Africans. We are family oriented. So if I have a lot of things, first of all, we don't have a lot of things. That consumerism, right? Consumerism here in Africa is not really a big thing. We don't have access to that credit card to go and swipe our lives away. So we don't buy things that we don't need for the most part. Now, don't get me wrong. When I say that, I'm generally speaking, I'm not talking about some individuals who have this, extravagant lifestyle and overspenders and, they keep acquiring things. That's not what I'm referring to. I'm referring to the individuals on the overall spectrum. The average Ghanaian is not overbuying things that they don't need. So we don't need anywhere to put our stuff. So the storage space idea is not going to work in Ghana right now. It's really not. Like, if I'm in Accra, I live in a 1-bedroom studio apartment, and I have a lot of things. Let's say I have a lot of things. Quick, I'm westernized, and I came here, I bought a lot of things. I have a lot of things I want to store away. I'm a hoarder. I don't think I'm going to go and pay for a storage space. I'm going to come to Prom and buy a land for $5,000. I'm going to come to Afinia and buy a land for $5,000 from Rush, right? And I'm going to say, Rush, can you please design something for me and build something for like $5,000 for me? That's $10,000 that you didn't waste because the land is going to appreciate in value. Now, if you pay for this storage space, every month you are paying money that you're never going to get back. You can have that storage. And you're going to have that land and you're going to protect it and it's going to appreciate in value and you can sell it later on to make money. So storage space is not going to work. And there are other businesses that you might be used to in the West that's quite like profitable, but it's not going to work here. It's a different culture. So when you come down here, you just have to know what works, right? Like in America, for example, right? Like selling land and stuff like that is well standardized, right? I mean, I never bought land when I was in America, but I know the system is quite, seamless. People buy land and build. Yes, people do. Buying a house too, they have escrows and stuff like that. It's quite streamlined, right? So, of course, there are still scammers. That's why they have these systems in place. So, Ghana is now building this infrastructure and bringing people like me and other people in the real estate space who are guaranteeing people their money back, who have presence in office, that are putting systems in place. So it would take a while before the crooks, either they vanish or they adapt to the proper way of doing business. But in the interim, between now and the next 20 years, where we put the systems in place where real estate purchase and stuff like that becomes, quite seamless, right? But still, there will always be agents. New York City, all the streamlines, they still have agents. Now, you also have some challenges that you can face on the ground. For example, I'm gonna be very open and frank with you guys. So we're gonna talk about my car wash. Now, speaking of my car wash, if you have a business that's earning purely cities, you just started earning more money. Just because of the city's appreciation, I want to say a big shout out to Mahama for doing such a remarkable job putting the economy back on its feet with quite an amazing, exchange rate. So if you do the math, let's say I was making 15,000 Ghana cedis a month from my car wash in profit after paying, the workers, my water, electricity, and all that. Let's say that's my profit. Just a year ago, that money would have been like $1,000 or $900 because $1 will buy you 16 cedis. Okay? That's what it was at one point. Almost got to 17. But now, $1 is going to buy you 10 cedis and let's say 30 pesos. So my 15,000 Ghana cedis is now almost $1,500. All of a sudden, I'm $500 richer, disposable, right? So people are earning cedis now. We can acquire more things outside and import it. Right? That's good. And I hope that, this continues, the stability continues, because the depreciation of the cities at one point was quite crazy for the businessman. So, prices haven't reflected this year, but I hope that they do reduce cement prices and they do reduce other prices and make things cheaper for people. Because right now, things are a bit expensive when you do convert it to dollars because things have not, settled down yet. As far as people believing that this is here to stay. What does that mean for you? That means if you are earning the cities here in Ghana, if you have a business, right, like selling blocks, my blog guy, I was buying it for him for $750 because I'm a Shy Hills. We are too close to the quarry. Other places, $850, $950, depends. But Shy Hills area, Afianya area, we are close to the quarry. So things are cheaper for construction there. Again, being strategic. That's why I decided to operate down here because things are just cheaper to build. I'm not talking about tiles and stuff like that. That's different. I'm talking about just the blocks, just the sand and the stones. We are closer, Some of the sand is coming from Pram, the beach and all that stuff. We are closer in general, right? So it's about being strategic, being on the ground, understanding the system, right? I was an accountant by profession, but I've been in the game. I've been on the ground. And accountant, again, we got to keep learning. As an accountant, right? I'm benefiting massively for being in the construction space, especially. Why? Because somebody send you, let's say, $100,000 to build a house. Of course, they're not going to sell in one shot. But we have the bill of quantities, which is the calculation of BOQ, the calculation of your building, right? The windows, doors, the foundation, everything is being calculated. And I'm not dealing with just you. I'm dealing with other people, right? So my account, how much I have in my account is not going to be just your $100,000. It's going to be a combination of different clients that sent in money for me to build their house for them. And when that money comes, as an accountant, I have to account beautifully for the money that I received and where it's going. And for construction, that's critical because if not, a lot of contractors end up spending clients' money unintentionally because they did not know how much the client has left with them. So my skills of accounting has made me quite successful in the real estate space as far as accounting for clients' money. I always know what the client's money is and when it has been used up. Just because you have the skills in the West, right? I didn't go and work for KPMG when I came to Ghana, but that skills, the accounting skills, is quite beneficial to me right now. So you can think about your skills that you have right now. How can you use that skill that you have to come to a new area and implement it to make it more efficient, to make it work, right? Like an accountant being in construction and knowing that skill of accounting, just know how to use Excel, how to calculate things and deduct things and accounting things. That's just that, being a key component of being a contractor is a key component of, tracking the finances, right? Once you get a business, then you got to track the finances. Of course, you got to find the best artisans that you can have, which we do have on board after working with them for a long time, right? Russian Properties, we are here to sell you the land, design and build for you, right? So my link is in the description below. If you are interested in any of the properties that I have for sale, reach out to me, then we can talk.